As Craig mentioned, of course, Real Madrid in action tomorrow. They have the chance to stretch their lead at the top of the table, of course, level on points with Barca after today's game. It's a game you can see it live, of course, as always, on ESPN Plus and ABC. And there for us, we've already seen Nedum and Maka. And Kay Murray joins us from Alicante as well to look ahead to Real Madrid's clash against Elche.
Does she carry that saying well?
Yes, she does. Yeah, it's a nightmare. Nightmare for security.
You and I would never do this,
put it in the
would we?
hold as well, guys.
Yeah, I know, you look cold. Maka sounds terrible.
Had to check it. Dan, it's great to see you back in the studio before we even start. I'm sure the boys have said it. It's lovely to see you back.
No, don't lie.
It means I get to be in Spain, so it's great to see
Yeah,
you back.
exactly. You're away
Listen,
from the
guys,
kids
we've
and
got-
the husband.
Yeah.
There you go. He knows how it works. But listen, guys, fact is, though, as I was saying, we can see what the table looks like. But Real Madrid are coming back from this international break, having lost to Liverpool and having dropped points against Rayo Vallecano. They've got to put things right tomorrow.
Yes, and I think they will. I think the Rayo Vallecano game, as everybody knows, that when you go there, it's always a difficult game. The Iñaki Perez is a wonderful manager. He's going to be seen, I think, in the Premier League, certainly in the future when he's trying to learn his English language, which he is at the moment. He has his teams working really hard. It's a difficult game. Madrid played very well that game. They just couldn't break them down. I think they'll go back and hopefully, with everybody coming back from the international break, perform really well tomorrow. It's always difficult when you've got an away game after the international break, but I presume that the size of Real Madrid and the team that they're playing Elche, they'll put things right tomorrow. But it will be difficult. It will be difficult.
You know, I think you make a good point there about the international break, because for, say, some sides like Real Madrid, most of your players are away. Whereas, you know, as you look, say, further down the table, unless you're giving your players time off, you've got time to prepare for this type of game. I think for Elche themselves, they'll be, you know, it's always a big deal when Real Madrid comes to play against you. But as you said, you do fancy Real Madrid quite heavily to go and do something there. But it might not be, for me, as straightforward as potentially would be if this was in a couple of weeks' time.
Because they've talked about, obviously there's a few injuries with Real Madrid, but the big news for them is the fact that Jude Bellingham and Mbappe, who's looking all right now, and Vinny Jr. are all unscathed from the recent international action, because they're going to be relying on these boys.
Yes, they are going to be. And, you know, Trent Alexander-Arnold is back in that right-back position, and he's had a couple of weeks in Dubai trying to get himself fit. Fede Valverde struggled at the end of the game at Rayo Vallecano, but he missed the Uruguay games, and he seems to be okay as well. So you would think Real Madrid should be strong enough to get the job done tomorrow. There's always question marks, of course, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what 11 Xabi Alonso picks, because in reality, Dani Carvajal being out, Fede Valverde struggling and actually being better in the central midfield position. I'm looking forward to seeing whether Trent does play tomorrow, because, of course, the Liverpool connection, I know him very well as well, and I'm here, so I want him to play and I want him to perform really well.
And a good thing, if Trent's playing, you mean to get in Valverde further up the pitch as well.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it's something that we can say that he's been crying out for as well. I think, in fairness, I think he has done a good job at right back. I will say that. It's not looked out of place at all. But I think when you have somebody that has that type of energy, like for me, for example, in the game against Liverpool, I felt like that's what they needed in that midfield area. So for him to be able to go back into midfield, if that's possible, and I think also as well, we've seen sometimes where maybe he drives with the ball, sometimes he'll sort of find a moment to have a shot, but to set the energy. And I think that really sets up that front line of Real Madrid, because they have so much quality, and when you have somebody like that that can link the play in so many different ways, I think it's great to see him further up the field.
Absolutely. Now, I know you've been speaking about this week on the show, Nedum. It's the Jude Bellingham situation, so I'm going to start with you on it, Makaran, but feel free to wade in as well, Nedum, when we do talk about it. Obviously, it's a different surrounding for Jude Bellingham with Real Madrid to what he's dealing with when he's at England right now, and the media that are around him and this whole situation. What do you think of what's going on there? Do you think it will have any impact at all, Maka, on what's going on with him at Real Madrid? Do you think it will spill over in any way? In everything that's been said about Jude Bellingham by the media, by the English media in particular, and what's been said by Thomas Tuchel as well.
Okay, no, not at all. I think Thomas Tuchel has said what he said. He's a German man, of course, interpreting English. He speaks very good English, of course, but he probably doesn't know the connotations of what he says at times. I think the English press has been absolutely nonsensical about what he said. I think Jude Bellingham is a starter for the English starting 11. I think he's an amazing player. I think he's way better than most of the players we've got, and he started my starting 11. So I think it's a load of fuss about nothing, to be very honest. I think he's an incredible player. He plays for Real Madrid. If you see him play, and I mean, the problem, I think, in England nowadays is that you don't see Real Madrid every single week unless you subscribe to a certain channel. And actually, we see Jude Bellingham play, and he's an outstanding player, and he stars most of the time. So as far as I'm concerned, it's a non-subject, to be honest. If England play in the World Cup, he starts in my 11. Forget about whether he gets in the 24, the squad. He plays in my 11. He's one of the best players around. Him and Harry Kane, and then you pick the other 9, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
So I don't even take umbrage to anything that anybody says. I watch what I see. I watch enough games, like Nedum does. We watch enough games all around Europe, and we say it as it is. And he's one of the best around.
I think, for me, he's a superstar.
Yes.
You know what I mean? He's not just
Absolutely.
a good player, he's a superstar, but he's also a superstar for Real Madrid.
Yeah.
So for all the grief that maybe he's receiving back in England, that's his identity, that's his country, he can still come to a place like Madrid and know that the team is still going to have a big part that runs through him. And we're talking about probably the biggest club in all of football. When you think how big football is, that says so much, and he's a star within that. So I think maybe he's in a position to where he comes back to club football and he feels more appreciated by the people who sit in the stands and see him and so on, because it's a different sort of pressure.
I think that's what it is. He feels appreciated by the people who see him week in, week out, rather than the people who see him once every international break, which is ridiculous,
for sure.
of course.
And don't get me wrong, there are certain things that we could critique about him. I'm sure of that.
Yes.
But the fact is, like, from my perspective, I'm sure the perspective of many people, including Steve, if England, for example, had to win a World Cup next year, I'd imagine Jude Bellingham would be a big reason for that.
Definitely.
That's
definitely.
how big of a superstar he is.
Definitely.
And I think we'll probably see some great form from him between now and the end of the season with Real Madrid, because he lives for those moments, as we've seen in his very short time in Madrid already.
We've seen it before already, Nedum, at a younger age, and he's only going to get better and better and better. So all these naysayers now, it just, I mean, listen, we play the game. We take no interest. And the boys have seen it in the studio. We take no interest in these short-term people who just want to critique. It's nonsense, absolute nonsense.
Yes, and we're looking forward to seeing Jude Bellingham and his fellow superstars with Real Madrid and see if they can get back to winning ways against Elche tomorrow. Dan, we'll be with you for it. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Kay. Saturday night in Alicante, and I hear the party animal that is Stuart Robson is flying in. What an evening you've got ahead of you. Thank you very much, guys.
Can't wait.